Stop everything you're doing right now, because what AI weather models just discovered about massive Arctic air will completely shock you and change this winter. For the first time ever, I'm combining traditional European and GFS models with cutting-edge AI forecasting to reveal something absolutely unprecedented. Drop your exact city in the comments right now, because I'll personally respond with specific timing and temperature impacts for your area. What we're about to witness is a pattern so complex that even veteran meteorologists are calling it the most puzzling winter setup in years. But here's what will absolutely blow your mind. We're tracking tons of Arctic air incoming, but the snow potential is completely baffling forecasters. This isn't just another winter forecast. We're looking at a dramatic 15-day pattern that will affect over 150 million Americans. Before I show you what models just revealed, tell me in the comments, what's your biggest weather concern for the next 2 weeks? I read every single comment and respond with specific details for your town or city, because your local forecast matters to me personally. Here's something that'll surprise you. Despite all this Arctic air potential, we're starting with exceptionally warm conditions first. The warmer period hits in the coming days, while the Arctic invasion doesn't arrive until after we cross past January 10th. Looking at the European model first, we're seeing an overall ridge in the west and trough in the east pattern that's about to reshape everything. What's fascinating is we haven't even entered the warmest period yet. And I'll admit, I'm actually looking forward to these upcoming warm days. Tell me in the comments, are you secretly hoping for massive snowstorms or dreading the Arctic cold that's heading our way? Tomorrow into Tuesday will be remarkably warm for the majority of the United States because we don't have significant cold over the west yet. Minneapolis residents, your warm period peaks Monday through Tuesday. Get outside and enjoy it, because dramatic changes are coming. Chicago, you're looking at spring-like conditions Tuesday into Wednesday. This could be your last comfortable outdoor weather for weeks. Detroit and Milwaukee, stock up and prepare now, because when this pattern flips, it's going to be absolutely dramatic for your areas. If you haven't dropped your location in the comments yet, do it right now. I want to give you specific temperature forecast for your exact area. Here's where things get absolutely fascinating. Thursday the 8th is when this pattern becomes incredibly complex and potentially explosive. The western trough continues developing while the eastern ridge intensifies dramatically, creating the warmest and most humid period of this entire pattern. A broad low-pressure system will be pulling Gulf warmth northward through a warm front configuration, creating almost spring-like conditions. New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. will see their peak warmth Thursday through Saturday with possible record-breaking temperatures. Meanwhile, colder air will be pulled southward behind a developing cold front, bringing snow as far south as southern New Mexico and Arizona. The Cascades and Rocky Mountains will receive tremendous snowfall during this period. Excellent news for mountain snowpack and winter recreation. Quick question while we track this. Drop a sun if you're excited about the warm weather, or snowflake if you're hoping for the Arctic air to arrive soon. Friday the 9th shows the western trough slowly creeping eastward, with the center of the trough shifting significantly from its western position. Here's a question for you. How prepared is your area for this kind of extreme weather pattern with such dramatic temperature swings? Now, here's the elephant in the room. A significant storm system developing between Missouri and Illinois with major implications. Kansas City, Omaha, Des Moines, and Wichita are positioned directly in the path of this strengthening system with snowfall potential. Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Madison, and Green Bay should prepare right now for snowfall from this system as it tracks through the upper Midwest. But here's what makes this absolutely unprecedented. The same system brings severe weather threats across the deeper South. Dallas, Houston, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, and Louisville should monitor for thunderstorm and severe weather potential from this complex system. Saturday the 10th brings dramatic intensification as this storm system tracks northward with a stronger low pressure between Michigan's peninsulas. Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Lansing will be directly impacted as this system strengthens and moves through the Great Lakes region. Thunderstorms and severe weather will shift toward Atlanta, Birmingham, Charlotte, and Raleigh as the pattern evolves southeastward. The eastern seaboard, including Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, and Savannah, will remain mild through Saturday the 10th, our critical transition date. Here's what should absolutely grab your attention. Saturday the 10th represents the flip from mild conditions into something dramatically different. The interaction between abundant humidity and warmth with incoming dry, cold Arctic air could create explosive weather dynamics. Sunday the 11th shows the cold front passage, establishing the ridge in the west, trough in the east pattern that becomes our new reality. This represents the beginning of a more consistently cold period, though the exact intensity could be absolutely staggering. Monday the 12th through Wednesday the 14th shows the establishment of a legitimate Arctic air mass across the eastern United States. Drop your city in the comments right now if you want specific warnings for your area during this potentially historic pattern change. Chicago could drop from 60-degree weather to teens within 48 hours. That's the kind of temperature whiplash we're tracking. Boston, New York City, and Philadelphia will experience their most dramatic temperature crashes of the winter season during this Arctic outbreak. Atlanta, Nashville, Charlotte, and Raleigh could see their coldest temperatures of the winter as this Arctic air mass dominates. Thursday the 15th through Saturday the 17th shows continued Arctic air influence with possible reinforcing shots, creating sustained cold. What's particularly mind-blowing is the potential for back-to-back Arctic blast rather than just one sustained cold period. Denver, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and St. Louis will be in prime position for these Arctic air mass interactions throughout mid-January. Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Columbus, and Pittsburgh sit in the transition zone where temperature swings will be most extreme. Now here's something that will absolutely stun you. We're also tracking potential polar vortex splitting events in the upper atmosphere. Polar vortex disruptions typically take 2 to 3 weeks to impact surface weather, potentially extending this pattern into late January or February. These upper atmospheric events often create sustained cold patterns that can last several weeks once they fully develop and strengthen. Looking at surface temperatures, we're tracking departures that are absolutely extraordinary for this time of year across multiple regions. The Mid-Atlantic and Northeast will experience their warmest conditions Tuesday, while everyone else sees far above average temperatures Monday. We're talking about temperatures 15 to 25 degrees above normal in the darker areas. That means 60s and 70s instead of 30s and 40s. Wednesday the 7th shows this exceptional warmth spreading across the plains and Midwest, with some areas reaching 25 to 30 degrees above normal. Thursday the 8th brings the warmth further eastward, so East Coast areas will experience their peak warm period later in the week. For central areas and plain states, the warmest period occurs Monday through Wednesday, while the East Coast peaks Thursday through Saturday. Saturday's forecast shows temperature departures that are almost unbelievable. 25 to 30 degrees above normal in bright white on our maps. The first Arctic air mass arrives Sunday the 11th and 12th, followed by brief moderation before another immediate and potentially intense blast. Wednesday the 14th through Friday the 16th brings another Arctic surge, creating dramatic temperature contrast across the eastern states. What's absolutely remarkable is this pattern of extended warm conditions followed immediately by relentless back-to-back Arctic attacks. The models have been incredibly consistent with this pattern, and the Climate Prediction Center at the National Weather Service agrees completely. But here's where this story takes a fascinating turn that even veteran forecasters find puzzling. The AI model shows something completely different. The European AI model suggests much less cold air and more persistent warm conditions, creating a massive disagreement with traditional models. This creates an absolutely unprecedented comparison opportunity between traditional forecasting and newer AI-based weather systems. The AI model shows brief cold around the 12th, then dominant warm air from the 13th through 19th. That's a complete contradiction. I personally respond to location requests with detailed forecasts. And here's something special. The most requested location in the comments gets a detailed 5-minute segment in tomorrow's video. Set a reminder and drop a comment around January 19th to 20th to remind me to analyze which model performed better in this challenging forecast. Total precipitation patterns from the European model show fairly typical distribution, though the southeast appears somewhat below average. This precipitation pattern is fairly typical for the type of La Niña conditions we're experiencing this winter across North America. Now here's something absolutely puzzling that has meteorologists scratching their heads. Snowfall potential despite all this Arctic air. Today's model runs show only modest snowfall increases, with several near misses rather than the significant events you'd expect. This disconnect between Arctic air potential and actual snowfall production doesn't quite match the cold air being advertised by models. The only areas showing meaningful snowfall increases are Rhode Island through eastern Massachusetts, regions that have struggled recently. Boston, Providence, Hartford, and Portland, Maine could finally see beneficial snowfall if this pattern holds as currently modeled. This would be excellent news for New England ski areas that have been waiting for consistent natural snowfall this season. The GFS model is even less encouraging for snowfall, showing minimal accumulation even in typically favorable areas during cold patterns. Great Lakes regions show some lake effect snow potential, but overall totals remain disappointing given the Arctic air forecast. Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Cleveland, and Erie should monitor for lake effect opportunities as cold air moves over warmer lake waters. We'll need to see significant changes in storm track patterns for this to become a hugely snowy period despite the cold air. But here's the big question I want you to answer. Are you hoping this extreme Arctic air actually brings massive snow, or are you dreading it? Let me know your honest thoughts about potentially the most dramatic temperature pattern we've seen in recent winters. If this breakdown helped you understand what's coming, smash that like button and subscribe immediately for daily weather updates. Hit that notification bell right now so you don't miss critical updates about this potentially historic temperature pattern. Your engagement helps us reach people who desperately need reliable weather information during extreme weather events like this. One more time, drop your exact location in the comments below and tell me what would make this the perfect winter forecast for your specific area. I'm waiting to help you prepare for what's coming to your exact area. Don't miss tomorrow's critical forecast with potentially life-changing information. We're going to track this pattern evolution together day by day because there's still so much to figure out about how it actually unfolds. Remember, patterns like this can change rapidly, so continuous monitoring from reliable sources isn't just helpful, it could literally save you money and preparation time.